Hello, my name is Patricia Holmes. I'm your Photoshop instructor and we are working in Chapter 3. One of the things in Chapter 3 we want to do is use our toolbar to move some things, and while we do this, I know I'm repeating myself through these videos, we're using different methods to learn Photoshop and the interface, because once you get super comfortable with Photoshop you'll be able to do a lot of things quickly. So what our goal here is we're going to select these seashells using a different variety of selections, and we're going to move them into the frame. So let's get started. The first thing the author wants us to do is use the quick selection tool, and up here is the size of the actual brush for the selection. So the author has a recommendation of a particular size, and I'm going to go ahead and pick my own, which is 19 is a pretty small one. And what we do is I just clicked my mouse once in the center of this shell, and it's selected. It's looking for the edges. The quick selection tool looks for the edges. So having said that, you have to have some kind of contrast. If this shell was on a white background, you'd want to use a different tool. Okay, so I want to show you something. I'm going to intentionally over select this. See how I'm over selecting it right there and around the red? There's a subtraction with this particular tool right here that you can click, and it basically unselects by you going back over it. So I'm going to unselect everything but the white area, and to show you what this tool does. So if you overshoot when you're trying to select something, that's okay. So I'm happy with this. I'm going to take my move tool. I'm going to take the move tool and I'm going to hold my mouse down on top of the shell, and I'm going to move it right here in position A. And then I'm going to hit Command D, or you can also go Select, Deselect to get the marching ants to stop. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to come down here. We're going to take this particular shell plate and we're going to move it here to B. But the author's asking us to use the elliptical tool, and there's a couple of ways that the author's showing us how to use the elliptical tool. So first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to go a little bit outside of the plate. We're going to hold the mouse down and we're going to drag. And that just happened to be a perfect fit, but sometimes, most of the time when you do this, it's not going to be a perfect fit. So I have not let go of the mouse. So if I hold my space bar down, I can move the circle around proportionately until it fits exactly where I want to go. You know, if you don't get the fit immediately, you're going to have to redo it, because there's no way to adjust this elliptical tool once you drag it. So again, if you drag the elliptical tool to select something and you let go of your mouse and it doesn't work, that's okay, just redo it again. So I'm going to let go of my mouse now because I'm happy with the selection. I'm going to come over here to the shell, and I'm going to hold my Command button down. I'm on a Mac, I'm going to press Command. If you are on Windows, you're going to press the Control key. So you got to put your mouse in the middle of the shell. I'm going to press Command. You'll see scissors there. I'm holding it down, and now I'm going to move the entire thing, which is cutting it, to right there. So the next shell we are going to move is we're going to take this little piece of coral and we're going to move it to section C. So I'm going to press Command D to deselect that shell. So anyway, back to this coral. Photoshop offers you a really quick way, a real tricky way of selecting this coral. Because the edges are all rigid, it could be difficult if you were trying to select it by hand. So what they're having us do is they're having us go to the magic wand. The magic wand. The magic wand is all about selecting areas of color. So before we do this magic wand, I'm going to take the rectangle tool. I'm going to surround my coral. So rectangle, just surround it. Then come back to the magic wand. Make sure your tolerance is on 32. That's an average tolerance. It's looking for white, but before we select this white, we want to hit this button, subtract. We want to subtract all of the white from the square, and that leaves us just the coral. So once you do that, take your mouse and click it, and you can see that the coral, every edge of it has been beautifully selected. So then what we're going to do is we're simply going to take our move tool right here, and we're going to move the selection to the frame. Okay, that's going to end part 1 of chapter 3. Thanks for listening.